Good evening, my name is Bob Stone, I'm the chair of the Underhill Selectboard. Today's date is the 26th of June, 2025. It is 6 o'clock here in Underhill Center. This is a regular scheduled meeting of the Underhill Selectboard. We have an agenda that has been prepared in advance and posted. So I'll call this meeting to order. Are there any adjustments to the agenda as presented? There is.
What you and I spoke about on the phone about the compactor.
Yep. Why don't we'll do that right after public comment period.
I have one thing.
Okay.
So there's been some changes to the open meeting law, Act 51. You probably got something in your mailbox from the LCT. Took effect a week and a half ago or so. And it regards executive sessions. So no person on the select board, the chair, no person can call for an executive session. They can call for one, but it must be posted as proposed executive session. You can only go in executive session if the majority agree. So from now on, you will see it listed on the agenda as proposed executive session. This is by law. It's not anything I'm making up. So I just propose that we amend 710 executive session, all be the same, but it shall read proposed executive session. Does that sound good?
So I'm going to move that going forward for every select board meeting going forward from now until I'm no longer chair, that at the end of every agenda, there'll be a proposed executive session time on every agenda, so that if we need to go into executive session, that's automatically warned.
Yep. So however, there is a caveat to that. When you put proposed executive session, you must state the purpose, and I'd be more than happy to provide you with the language. I just wanted to do it for this one particular, I'll revisit it again, but if we could just call it proposed executive session this time, we'll catch up on the rest of it.
Perfect. Sounds good. Is there, I don't see any public here. If there's no other adjustments to the agenda. There's no one here at the town hall, and I'm not seeing anyone other than Maureen and MTV is obviously with us. So we're going to move right into, Russ had talked to me about a compactor that they were had put forth in the budget for next fiscal year. So there's an opportunity to move on this compactor that they would use, and Russ can get into the detail about that. But this would be a piece of equipment that they've already budgeted. It's in the fiscal year 25-26 budget to be utilized to help them with. My understanding is for like when they change out a culvert, they have to compact the earth so that when they go to regrade the road, that it's not going to have a dip in it or hump or whatever the case may be. So Russ, you want to give us a brief little?
Yeah, like Bob was saying, we did put $8,000 in our budget starting July 1 to purchase a new compactor. And earlier this week, had a few minutes to just get in touch with our suppliers to get updated quotes so I could put it together for the next meeting. And then while talking to one of the vendors, got that rental in Essex, he said, we did order several compactors on a pre-order this year. And he goes, I have one left, and it will save us $480. So I said I had to get approval through the board. I said I can't purchase it until after July 1. He said that's no problem. But if that one was to sell prior to us making a decision, then it would go. Then they'd have to order one that would go up to the normal $7,279. So I wanted to bring it up tonight so I could say, yes, we will take that after July 1 and save the town the $480.
I don't know with our purchasing policy, I don't know that necessarily need to have board approval because it's in the budget as a scheduled piece of equipment to be purchased.
Any spending over $1,000 requires select board approval, whether it's in the budget or not.
Okay. So I'm going to move then that we go ahead with that purchase after July 1 to go into, we have the money set aside for this intended purpose, and it's just a matter of going forward with the budget.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Russ, is that one of those, it's like a,
It's called it's a plate
Is it-
compactor. Might have
it's like 2x2, 3x3?
Oh, they're bigger than
It's
that.
bigger?
It's this unit right here.
All right, much bigger. Thank you. I'm good.
And did you say, is this replacing one that?
We have a smaller one
Mhm.
that works well for driveway culverts, because you're not opening up that wide, not going that deep. But when you're doing cross culverts and they're really deep, you have a wide opening that you have to V-shaped really. So you have a lot of compacting and you need a heavy compactor. We've rented one in the past, and John Angelino's let us use his in the past on some jobs. So we just went up a size bigger to get the jobs done quicker.
Still keep your old.
We'll still have our own.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, are you ready for the question? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Russ.
Thank you, guys.
Next item on the agenda is the review and consider awarding the fiscal year 26 winter sand hauling contract. You should have received a spreadsheet on the candidates that, the bidders that put forth a bid to us, the price per ton, the total cost, and some notes that are on the side. A motion would be in order to approve one of these folks to be awarded this contract.
Is there any concern with the 5-star construction? It's the least cost, but you noted that they're new.
I think,
I'm happy to discuss. I just, I can't say I have any problem with them because we've never worked with them.
Mhm.
I'm a little concerned about the amount again. This happened last year. They were considerably low last year. And we knew they couldn't do it for that. So did them a favor, so to speak. And he was fine with that. He was really good about that. He didn't have any problem with that. He did come back to the table again this year. Didn't come up much from last year. It is, a $6,000 savings. I have some hesitation, so I reached out to him to see if he could supply some references. He did supply a couple references. I called one, did not get a response back. The second one I talked to, they said he did a great job for him. It was dirt work, it wasn't trucking. That's his biggest work, is dirt work and paving. He thought this would be good for fill-in work if there was a lot of rain days and so on, which I can understand. So
We
I can't
worked
say
with them.
really.
We worked with them last year.
He bid on. They bid
He
on.
bid last
He
year,
bid
but
last
did not
year.
get the job.
We bid it so incredibly low that it was,
Questioning.
we were questioning. And then once he was here at the bid opening, once he saw what the other prices were, he was like, whoa, maybe I messed up. So we allowed him
You let him
to
off the hook.
let him
Yeah.
off the hook.
Well-
You would think that after coming last
Exactly,
year
he's
and
done
seeing
this.
the results and still being low, that's what surprised me the most. But you had other information, right?
And then before that other information, he did come out and look at the Hummel Bridge with me because we had some bridge joint issues, or we thought we did. So he came out and looked at it and he explained it wasn't a bridge joint issue. It's really needed to be, the pavement needs to be ground off and repaved on the bridge. So I asked him to give me a budget number so we could start planning on that, which he never supplied. And then when he actually came to the bid opening for this and I asked him about it again, and he goes, oh yeah, so I'll get that to you. Still have not got that. So again, he seems like a very nice man. I can't say anything against it. I have a little hesitation, but
Did I notice he did some work with the state?
That's
Or he
what it looked
does?
like.
Did you see that?
I don't think it was the state, it was Pike Industries, I think,
Oh,
right?
okay. Was.
Or the prime contractor through the Department of Transportation and the New Hampshire Department of Transportation? That's,
That'd be Pike.
okay.
Right.
So, and then if he's, if he's just using it for fill-in work, what happens if they don't have a lot of rain days this summer and they're busy doing other work? So I have a little hesitation there. The second thing that I just learned this morning, I did get an email from Tim Clark, who's the next bidder, and he said that he has some changes in work with, his main work is with ECI, Engineers Construction, and they've made some changes where he feels that they are going to be too busy with ECI and wanted to pull his bid because he didn't think he could, if he realized he wasn't under the low bid, but if for some reason Boyd chose to go with him, he didn't feel like he could to fulfill the contract. So in the best interest of the town and himself, he thought he would pull the bid this year. So I will say Dale Percy, who did it last year for us, was phenomenal. They did a fantastic job. So
They own the sand, we buy it.
And they're not driving over Bridge 7.
no,
They're able to circumvent the bridge and
They did
that's
that
all
last year.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dukes of Hazzard style.
They're going to Johnson, it's much smoother to go, it's much smoother to go 15.
Yeah.
It's not.
Just want to make sure.
They did a superior job for us last year, I have to say that. So, in my gut, to save us $6,000, and, we are asking for competitive bids. But sometimes you just have a gut that,
You have the right to accept or reject any and all bids. So
Thank you. So a motion now would be in order to accept or we can move on.
So your recommendation, Russ, is to go with Dale Percy.
my recommendation would be Dale Percy. Yes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the fiscal year 26 sand hauling bid to Dale Percy in the amount of $30,950.
I'll
Is there a
second.
second?
Any discussion?
It would be great if you could have some follow-up conversation with the 5-Star construction folks and see if they'll come around and bid again, but let's see if we can get them, so, explain to them why we made the decision.
Yeah,
So that,
which I did last year, and
okay.
he was very understanding.
I think part of the concern is the secondary nature, he's got other irons in the fire. It seems like, well, Dale Percy isn't sitting there twiddling his thumbs before he does our thing. It's a priority for him.
Okay.
And I think that is worth some money. And I would be interested in 5-Star following through on the recommendation.
Me too.
Hummel Bridge.
I'll be voting,
Keeping him in the
Right.
I'll be voting against this and I don't agree. I'm in the minority. I think that we should stick to the price per ton and the overall cost of the bid. And I think that $6,000 to $7,000 is too much. So I'll be voting in the minority, it appears. Ready for the question? We're doing a roll call vote. All those in favor, please signify with your vote.
Patty Richards, aye.
Maureen
Charlotte.
Collins Kolb, aye.
Charlotte Rule, aye.
Dan Steinbauer, aye.
Bob Stone, nay. So the vote is 4-1. Motion carries to award the sand hauling to Dale Percy. Thank you. Moving on. 3 Poker Hill Road driveway issue. We have received a correspondence from the owner that resides at 3 Poker Hill. In that, you also received that there was a fire that occurred near the North Underhill Station Road end of Poker Hill. She's claiming that there's damage to her driveway. due to extensive water damage from the water flooding it down in the large gullets that it made as a result of the fire department. I am going to recuse myself from this discussion and from voting on this matter as a member of the fire department. As an assistant chief, I was not at the fire when this happened. I know very little about what was done near 3 Poker Hill, other than I know the fire department obtained water from the hydrant at that location. I question whether or not one has anything to do with the other, but I am going to recuse myself. So at this time, I'm going to turn this over to you, Patty, to run this portion of the agenda. And again, I'll be recusing myself.
Okay. My feeling on this item, and I don't know if we need to make a motion on this or take action, but I don't see this as the town of Underhill's responsibility. It's, you know, if there's concern relative to the water flow, relative to what the fire department did, then they should reach out to the fire department and talk to them about whatever the issue. I just don't see this as the town of Underhill's jurisdiction. It's not caused by the road crew. It's not caused by anything that we've done relative to roads. It's just not a town issue, in my opinion. The fire department is a separate entity. So I'll just start the conversation with that.
I'm a little confused by the letter. Did the attention to the fire hydrant by the fire department, was that during the fire or was that another maintenance thing? Because it doesn't really explain that very clearly.
I think she prefaced it with the fire, right? She said it was
Right.
the fire
A barn fire a
after
couple
the
of weeks
fire,
ago.
right? So the fire she's talking about is the barn fire that was up on
Right.
where Bob explained. And the hydrant's across the road from her house. Downslope, not downslope. Hydrant isn't downslope. Or the driveway's not downslope from the hydrant. It is in a way, but hydrant's on the opposite side of the road. So,
I think the first question is who has jurisdiction over this? And
Yeah.
it's like if the oil company comes into my driveway and ruts it up, I'm not going to call the town and say, fix my driveway. I'm gonna call the oil company and say, come fix my driveway because your trucks did something. I just don't see it as our issue. And if she wants to do something further, she can call the fire department. Or Bob will send it back to you. But it should be, to me, in my thinking, it should be a fire department issue.
I believe the precedent, if we were to say it was the town issue, would be
That's true too.
expensive.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering if the damage occurred during the fire, wouldn't that be an insurance thing? But I don't know if the insurance company does more than
Yeah,
structure
that's a good question.
or the environment, but that would be a tree that they could bark up as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think the jurisdictional question is the correct one, and I don't believe it is the town's jurisdiction either.
Well, it sounds like we have consensus. Do you want to follow?
yeah, so I followed up with her. So Sherry forwarded me this email, as you see. I reached out to her and I said, it'll be placed on the agenda and I'll get back to you. So I'll get back to her and basically say that.
Okay. I don't think we need to have a motion. We just direct Brad to follow up.
Very good. Moving right along. Next item is to review and approve the fiscal year 25 recommended, requested and required fiscal transfers. You all have received budget from the transfers that Jennifer has prepared. So there's a couple proposed motions in here. So I'm going to start off with saying that I'm going to move that we make the budget transfers for the usage of the excess savings interest in fiscal year 25 as outlined, as well as all budgeted reserve requests and final ARPA reserve usage. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, are you ready for the question? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed with a nay. Motion carries 5-0. Next motion would be to move to transfer $30,000 from the fiscal year 2025 budgeted and unutilized highway contractor line to fiscal year 26 pavement repair and retreatment line. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, are you ready for the question? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed with a nay? Motion carries 5-0.
I do have those two transfer forms in there. You
Yep.
need
So
full
it is
signatures on that?
I think just one signature is fine.
Okay, I'll get that to you.
Yeah.
Next item is to review and accept the May 2025 landfill monitoring report. I move that we're gonna accept the spring 2025 land monitoring report that Brad has contacted Bob Ross, instructing to move forward with the report to the state as presented in the packet. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion?
Could I just give Shara a little
Yeah.
rundown, or she's not probably aware of the landfill, or maybe you are. So in the 80s, we ran a landfill maybe up into the 90s, right, Dan?
Mhm.
Roughly
Yeah,
up into the 90s, and it was located above the town garage.
Mhm.
So part of the closure of that landfill, we're required to monitor it twice a year. So we do it in the spring, we do it in the fall. In the fall, we also test the supply well for the town garage.
Okay.
And I would say that Dan's probably the most knowledgeable of these reports, but things have been, as Bob Ross said, steady and no significant changes.
Good.
To the point where we have asked, but it has been rejected, that we stop monitoring it. Because over a large period of time, we've been monitoring it and there's been no changes.
Right.
Not quite there yet. We'll keep asking.
Yeah, every couple of years.
In hindsight, probably wasn't worth running the landfill. Considering we
we
paid
fought tooth
14.
and nail that, well, not quite that bad. We fought at least tooth to keep the landfill open. And, we thought that it would be a good idea to line said landfill. And we didn't look into it too deeply, and we abandoned the idea. And that was when we were holdouts on CSWD. They had already established. And we said, no, we'll go on our own way.
And it was our only social outlet in the community.
Yeah.
Jump day.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
And we decided that going CSWD is probably a good idea.
Okay,
So I will contact Bob Ross and forward the results.
so we have a motion, right, it's been seconded. We're gonna take a vote on that. All ready for the question?
Mhm.
All those in favor of accepting the monitoring report and having Brad contact Bob Ross to instruct him to move forward with the report to the state, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed with a nay, motion carries 5-0. Now you can, Brad.
Okay.
Next up is an update on 12 Dumas Road and the FEMA demolition.
I thought it was going to kill me, but it is down.
Nice.
I'll just give you a little. So last week was last Monday, a week ago from this Monday, had a site visit, open invitation to bidders. The bid went out in 7 days. It did show up somehow in some contractor online thing where they picked it up from either 7 days or a website. Not sure how that works, but I guess they just kind of poach information and post it for us. So I had 5 bidders. We had actually more than that look at it, but a couple decided not to place bids because they just they couldn't fit it in the time frame. But I would like to read the bids for the record, if you would allow me to. Starting,
Are they in the packet, Brad?
they are not in the packet, but this is just an update, right? I just wanted to give you, we don't have to do it. We can, so Tetro was awarded the bid. And they have completed the demolition. They're just finishing the topsoil right now.
Mhm.
So we
The
met our
job went smoothly.
deadline. The job went smoothly.
Nice.
Met our deadline. So That's that.
I have no problem with you, saying where the bids came in at. I was just thinking that, if there's a printed out copy of the bids,
I just like,
just make that part of the record as well.
yeah,
Brad.
that's fine, but I didn't have, the bids came in on Friday afternoon.
After
When I was trying to put the packet together, I had all I could do to get the job completed. I just simply would like to have it in the record somewhere, and I could put it, what I'll do is do a follow-up debrief, and I'll include it in the packet next week.
Sounds great.
So,
That's a good idea.
all right, it is 6:26.
Congratulations, Brad. That's a big project. Pull
Mhm.
that house down.
Hope you're sleeping better.
Get it done
That
by,
was-
Yeah, that was a lot of work.
and to get it done by the end of this fiscal year.
Yeah. I know.
Kudos to
Well
you.
done.
He'll
Yep,
sleep better
so
tonight.
I'll
Now
sleep
this
better
is done.
tonight. So I didn't include anything in the packet, but I do have an update on Maya Holmes. I don't know if she's our zoning administrator. She's gonna start. You're interested? She's gonna start in earnest on July 10th. So nothing changed in the agreement you signed. There were no changes. There were some talk about some slight verbiage, but that did not happen. We have a job description. She's gonna spend some time orienting with Chittenden County Regional Planning, and then she will be here on, I think, the 10th is a Thursday and Friday, and then every day after that, except Wednesdays, when she'll be in St. George.
And she found housing.
Apparently.
It's a big deal.
All right. Anything else on the zoning position?
No.
Closing comment, public comment. There's no one here. Doesn't look like we've gained anyone in the virtual environment, so move on to the review and approve the warrants and approve the minutes of the June 12th regular scheduled meeting. So I'm gonna move that we approve the payroll warrant. Let me speak. The payroll, one more time, payroll warrant dated June 17th. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, are you ready for the question? All those in favor of approving the payroll warrant, please signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye.
Those opposed, the nay. Motion carries 5-0. I don't know why I was having problems with that, but
It's a tongue
anyway,
twister.
we'll move on. The next item is to approve the warrant dated June 24th, 2025. I move that we accept that. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion as it relates to that? Seeing and hearing none, are you ready for the question? All those in favor of approving the warrant dated June 24th, 2025, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed with a nay. Motion carries 5-0. Next is going to be the select board meeting minutes dated June 12th, 2025. I move that we accept those as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Maureen. Is there any discussion? Ready for the question?
Mhm.
All those in favor, do we have? So we'll have to do a roll call because Shar and
Abstain.
Dan will likely be abstaining because they were absent.
Mhm.
So all those in favor of approving the meeting minutes, we'll do a roll call vote. So Bob Stone, aye.
Patty Richards, aye.
Shara Tool.
Maureen. Maureen Collins Kolb, aye.
Dan Steinbauer, abstain.
So the motion carries 3-0 to 2. 3 in favor, no, 1 against, and 2 abstaining.
This reminded me, didn't we have meeting minutes from our last minute that we weren't able to approve? Because I had to abstain. Is that ringing any bells for anybody else?
Yes, it is. Good memory on
Because I
that.
think it was the last meeting that the three of us were the only ones there. We were supposed to approve meeting minutes from a previous meeting that I was not at.
So that's why I love Maureen, because she.
I'll put that in the packet for next time.
No, I've got
Okay,
it.
thanks,
It
Brad.
wasn't wasn't in packet, so I'll put it in the packet for next time.
Okay. That's fine.
Wasn't on the agenda. I just had June 12th. I'm sorry, that was my fault for not picking that up.
And I also put something there for, that I need your signature on. It's the audit, the annual audit.
Yep, I get that.
Agreement. We don't need to do a motion because we
We already-
already had approved a 5-year contract with them. But each year they send out a letter of understanding and objective. So I have to just have 2 signatures to send to them.
All right.
No, just one person, 2
So we'll hold off on the warrants till next time.
Not the warrant, but the
Meeting minutes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So next item on the agenda, if there's no other warrants or payroll or anything like that, next item is member items, correspondence, announcements, schedule a special meeting to get the 2025-26 municipal tax rate considering July 7th or 8th for a daytime meeting. The regular scheduled select board meeting is set for July 10th, 2025 here at 6 o'clock. So I guess we'll start with, are there any member items? Nope. I have a correspondence I'd like to read into the record. This is from the Vermont Superior Court. As it relates to the Pleasant Valley Road CU denial and judgment order in the matter of Michael Steve's appeal, a decision of the Town of Underhill Town Development Review Board denying his application for a site plan conditional use review to construct a new access and driveway at his property located at 459 Pleasant Valley Road in Underhill, Vermont. The property. Mr. Steve was represented in this matter by Mark G. Hall, attorney. Mr. Steve has ceased contact and communications with Attorney Hall. Attorney Hall now moves for leave to withdraw as counsel due to Mr. Steve's lack of contact. Attorney Hall informed Mr. Steves of his intent to withdraw on April 30th, 2025. Upon filing the motion, the court set the matter for a remote conference on June 9th, 2025. The notice of hearing stated that the court requests the appearance of the appellant, Michael Steves, for this June 9th status conference. Failure to appear may result in a dismissal of the matter. Mr. Steves did not attend the conference and has not contacted the court. Given these circumstances, Attorney Hall motion to withdraw is granted. Because Mr. Steve has failed to participate in his appeal either by working with Attorney Hall or appearing on his own behalf. The court dismisses his appeal for failure to prosecute. See appeal of Sparkman number 183-11-97, VTEC slip OP at 5, parentheses, Vermont Internal Court, March 20th, 2025, right J, nothing that the court has inherent power to dismiss a suit for failure to prosecute. This concludes this matter before the court, electronically signed on the 9th day of June 2025 pursuant to VREF 9D, Thomas G. Walsh, Judge, Superior Court, Environmental Division. So member items, okay. Correspondence, I don't have any other correspondence. Announcements. I believe the Lions was having their Strawberry Festival. I know it's a big thing for Dan and his family, so I'm hoping that he'll be able to attend that as well.
When is the Strawberry Festival?
I think it's
I
like
don't know.
this weekend, right? That's why he likes it so much. It's so
Oh,
awesome.
it's Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's Saturday at the church, right? At the, in the
Where's
class?
Friday?
I don't know. We'll have to get back to you.
Okay.
If you're that interested, we'll make
I'm
sure you know, yeah.
My one strawberry plant didn't make it this year.
All right.
Very much more.
Schedule a special meeting to set the 2025-26 municipal rate on the 7th of the 8th. Does anyone have a preference as far as either one of those days?
I would prefer the 7th. The 8th will be difficult because they have a couple grandkids to take care of.
If I could just say the 7th would work better for us. I did the 8th as a backup just because, but we have to have all these tax bills stuffed in envelopes, printed, stuffed in envelopes and sent out probably by the 10th, no later than the 10th.
Yep.
So,
What time?
I am still going to be out of town, but can attend remotely as long as I should be able to still attend remotely.
plan wants to be remote anyway, so I'm up for any time of day during the working day because there might be questions, whatever works for you guys.
I don't know if at noon works, if people during their lunch break, if they could get away for, I don't anticipate this being
5 minutes.
5
if
minutes
that, if
tops.
that.
It's just like, and you'll have the information ahead of time to know what the proposed numbers are looking like.
We really can't. The tax rate sets itself. The only thing you could do is add money to the tax rate, but that's never been done. We wait for the education numbers that come in at the end, should be here soon. Then we can calculate what the local agreement and the municipal tax rate will be.
Patty's afraid that if we add, that it'll result in a pitchfork party.
Yeah, oh, it sure would.
Yeah, definitely.
Strawberries or pitchforks?
Yeah.
The strawberries sound good.
So 7 at noon, would that work for everybody?
Would 12:15 or be okay?
Yeah, whatever, if
Right.
12:15, 12:30, whatever, I mean, I just threw that out, but if you normally go to lunch at 1, I don't care.
I have a meeting that ends at 12, so just to give me time to log on and.
You want to say 12:30 or?
Would 12:30 be okay with
12:30.
everybody?
Yep. 12:30.
Give you a chance to have a glass of lemonade?
Monday on the 7th, 12:30. Okay, that's set.
Okay, the next scheduled meeting is set for the 10th of July at 6. That's still good with everybody?
I will not be in attendance.
Of course.
I will also still be remote.
Okay,
Um,
I will
So-
be here.
I will be here.
I'll try to be here.
We kind of talked about that because the meeting, getting the packet together is on the 4th of July. Not crazy about working on the 4th of July.
I'm not crazy about you working on the.
If we could do, Bob suggested just do strictly basic business, warrants, minutes, basic. That would be really nice.
I think that's the
That's
direction we should go in.
Perfectly appropriate, absolutely.
Go up with a bang, Brad.
Okay.
That's all, and we're on to the next thing on the agenda. A proposed executive session as it relates to 1 VSA 313A1E, pending or probable civil litigation or a prosecution to which the public body is or may be a party to. So I move that we go into executive session and include in the executive session the town administrator, town health officer, and our town animal control officer. Russ, you can attend if you want. I don't have a problem. It would be up to his discretion if you would like to attend this or not.
I'm sorry, but there are 2 very specific motions in the folder I gave you. That's, I think we need to get in the habit of following.
Oh, look at that. Move that the select board make a finding that premature general public knowledge. Let me start over. I move that the select board makes a finding that premature general public knowledge regarding probable prosecution of an ordinance violation would clearly place the public body at a substantial disadvantage, as it will disclose the select board's deliberations regarding enforcement, litigation, strategy, and priorities in any negotiation related thereto. So I'm going to move that we go into executive session based on that. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I guess, as I stated earlier, I'd like to include in the executive session the health officer, town administrator, animal control, and the town road foreman if he so desires to want to be here.
I'd be happy to attend.
Ready for the question? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We are now in executive session. The time is 6:40. Please stop the recording.
I'll just say that we'll, when we exit executive session, if anything, any action was taken place, we need to do that in public session, but it will be done. I'll start the recording again, but Mall Mansfield, we don't need you to stay.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, I'm still Bob Stone. I'm still the chair of the Underhill Selectboard. We are still in Underhill Center at 12 Pleasant Valley Road in Underhill, Vermont. Today is the 26th of June. It is now 7:06 PM. A motion to come out of executive session would be appropriate.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of coming out of executive session, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed with a nay. Motion carries 5-0. The action that was taken by the board while it was in executive session, the board is going to have a member of the board, Shara, and Deb Moore, our town health officer, and Jennifer Soapy Katz, our animal control officer, are going to come up with a plan to meet potentially with a resident concerning a matter that came before the board as a result of a complaint. And we'll be reporting back to the select board in the near future. I don't think there's anything left on the agenda. This is your favorite time, Dan.
I move we adjourn.
Not debatable. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Those opposed with a nay. Motion carries 5-0. We are now adjourned. The time is 7:07. It is still the 26th of June. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, Maureen.
Thanks,
All
Maureen.
right.
See you later.
Bye, everybody.